Hello and welcome to this video on the Blackboard assignment tool. So we're doing a re-record on this video from our prior videos just for a few reasons. Number one, there's an assignment tool in Blackboard that allows students to turn in their papers and or actually any kind of digital assignment that needs to be attached within Blackboard and then associates it with the Grade Center. Also within Blackboard was another tool called the Safe Assign tool, which allowed students to turn in papers and it would check the originality or plagiarism within those papers against a global database, other institutional papers that were put into the Safe Assign tool. So there were two separate tools at that point. Well, some updates have been made to the system and now the Safe Assignment tool is integrated with the Blackboard assignment tool. So the assignment tool works just the same, but now you have the additional option to turn on the originality report checking, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that today. So I've made this course we can do a little playing around in, and I'm going to go into my course modules. We're building a course module for week one, and we need to add an assignment. So I'm in my week one folder, and I need to add that assignment, so I'm going to go to the assessments area, and you'll notice now that there's an assignment tool, but you won't find the Safe Assign tool. It's not that we turned it off, it's just that it's integrated. So now I can click on assignment. There's going to be a lot of the similar things that we've been accustomed to in the past when creating these assignments, so you're going to have to give it some sort of a name. We're going to call this one our research paper, because we'd like to have some of the students turn in some information for research. You definitely want to put in some sort of description on your papers. That's something that's pretty typical. So let's go ahead and have them do an assignment here. Okay, so we've got information in our description into our title. You can attach a document to your particular assignment. Now this is an added benefit to the people that are familiar with how Safe Assign tool used to work. You were unable to attach documents to the Safe Assign tool to give additional instructions. Now that it's integrated with the assignment tool, you'll have that option. Under the due date, you definitely want to select a due date. That will associate this particular assignment with the calendar tool within Blackboard. So as students take a look at that calendar, it's going to pop up that this assignment is due on the particular date that you select. All right. So one of the only other things you truly need in the assignment tool to be able to post this is some sort of point value. I'm going to go ahead and just type in 100 points. Seeing that it's a research paper, you should probably have already had a rubric built out and associated with this tool. Since this is just a quick demo, we're not going to associate that rubric tool. But go check out the rubric tutorial because that is going to help you big time on being able to create a better feedback system for your students and on the assignments that they are turning in. Okay, so now we come to a newer area that you hadn't had in the prior version of the assignment tool. You'll have these three links. This first one is called Submission Details, and so it looks pretty simple at first. You may even actually glance over these as you go down to make the assignment available and submit the assignment, but these are actually some pretty big things that you can utilize within the assignment tool. So just by clicking on Submission Details, it's going to pop down this list of checkboxes, radio buttons, and different options that you have for the assignment. So first off, are you going to be giving this assignment as an individual assignment or possibly to a group of students? So right there, it's going to default to individual. That's what you want to do. If you wanted to give a number of attempts, you can change that there. By selecting unlimited attempts, for example, you may be able to add in 2 attempts. Maybe you wanted to give them two tries at this. They may forgot to attach an item the first try, so go ahead and give them that second attempt and you'll grade that attempt. And look, it allows you right now to select which score you'll grade. So in this attempt, I'm going to say, hey, last thing that's been submitted is the one I'm going to grade. So finally, we get to our plagiarism tools. So they really have integrated Safe Assign deep into the tool, and it's hidden under this menu. But you'll now notice that it says check submissions for plagiarism using Safe Assign. So you want to use Safe Assign, you want to have an originality report, check this button. Once you do that, it's going to allow these other buttons to light up and allow you to make some checkboxes here. So you probably want to allow your students to check out that originality report if they're going to turn it in, and maybe this is just a draft of the paper, and you actually want them just to see what things pop up on that originality report. Go ahead and select that box there. Or maybe they just you want to show them the originality report all the way through. The other area that you could select is to exclude the submission from institutional and global reference databases. So what does that even mean? Well, that means anytime somebody's turned something into the SafeAssign tool, it goes into an institutional database. So in other schools using SafeAssign, somebody turns in a paper. Well, you don't want that same paper that's at a different school to be just given to a student at our school. So it's going to check against those other papers and give you that in the originality report. So why would you turn that off? Well, let's say that you're just doing a draft of a paper and somebody doesn't really get their references right, and you don't want to submit this to the institutional database because they may be submitting it a second time. And if that happens, it's going to show that there's an originality issue with their particular paper. So since we're doing this one as just a draft, this is going to be the first time that the students would turn it in, I'm going to go ahead and exclude the submissions from the institutional global references database. Okay, so that kind of completes the SafeAssign integration into this particular tool, but let's take a look at our grading options. So if you look at your options, you can anonymously grade papers, which can be helpful. It turns on an anonymous grading, so you instruct your students, hey, don't put your names on your papers, just turn it into the tool. And what that would allow you to do is go through all the papers, grade it anonymously, if that's something you'd like to do. Additionally, you can delegate your grading. So this is an interesting feature within the grading tool of the assignments. And what it does is it allows you to select various graders and select various roles for those graders. So maybe you have a teaching assistant in your course and you want to give them the ability to grade, but you don't want them to see the particular names of the students that they're grading. You can do that utilizing these grading options. So once you enable delegated grading, it is going to bring up the various roles and various users in your course that have the ability to grade. So there are a few roles that you cannot grade with, and that's like a student role or a guest role. But just for now, you see that you can do some additional gradings with your assignment tool. I'm going to go ahead and turn those off for now. And finally, there's the display of grades. How do you want to show the grade once you get into the Grade Center? Usually you can work on these on the Grade Center end, but on this particular end, you can get some defaults set up. So I'm going to primarily show the score once we grade. I definitely want to include those Grade Center calculations into the Grade Center to show the score. And then finally, you do want to show the students their grades. If you wanted to deselect those, you could do that, but the defaults are to show grades and have it as part of your calculations. And of course, there's the availability options that Blackboard has to offer with most of the items that they have. So by default, the assignment will be made available. You can limit those various availability dates by clicking the checkboxes, adjusting the dates. And if you'd like to track the number of views of this particular assignment, go ahead and click on that checkbox, and then you can look at some metrics later down the line as to how many people really looked at this assignment. Let's hope that they're all going to look at it and turn in your assignment because you've done everything correct. So once you're ready to go, you'll hit submit on your assignment, and your assignment will be posted within your course. And once it's posted in your course, there's a few things that happen. Number one, you'll get this icon. This icon indicates that you posted a assignment within an area. Your description will show underneath that assignment. If you had any attachments, those would be available there as well. One additional thing that happens is if you go into the Grade Center, you'll notice that it's automatically put in a Grade Center column. Now this is really important because that particular column will light up once a student turns in their assignment. So you want to go view an assignment or see who has turned in their assignments. You could always take a look at the Grade Center and there'll be little icons showing that there needs to be grading on a particular assignment. And once it's graded, you'll be able to adjust that so that it shows the score that they earned. So hopefully you found this video helpful for the Blackboard assignment tool. Check out some of our other videos that show a few things about turning in a digital assignment, how to take a look at those SafeAssign options once you've done the selection of that tool and the originality report has been generated. Thank you so much. You have a good day.